Hello, hello, and welcome. This is Barbara J. Beckley, the CEO of DFN Broadcast Studio and also the leader for Achieve TV channel. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're doing great because we have a wonderful, wonderful interview coming up of one of our leaders and members of Achieve Community. Now, this particular show is called Achieve Spotlight. And what we do, we spotlight the experts, the people that's been in the know-how, the people that have that wisdom, and they've been just doing and stuff for years and years, or even maybe for a year, but they learned a lot through that year. And they're here to make sure that you understand who they are first, and then how they can help you. Two things right there. And I always say when you have those one-on-ones with people, you really get to know who they are, why they do it, where their heart is, where their passion is. Well, today we have a wonderful, amazing person coming on that's been a leader for a while. He's been in his business for 35 years. We're going to hear a little bit more about that. That's why I just told him before we came on, I said, that's where you get your wisdom and patience. So with that, Harold Kiefer, he's going to be coming on. He oversees, I'm going to say, the division for the licensing and franchises for Achieve, but also he has his own company. And see, I like what we're going to talk about because we're going to blend those two together so you can understand how much of an expert that he is. He gets it. He understands on both ends of this. So we want to make sure that we give him the light on what he's been accomplished, the milestone that he has brought. But we will be right back once after this video. We'll see you in a minute. Yes, we are back. We are back with our wonderful guests. Before I even start, I just have to say, yes, thank you so much for your time today, Mr. Harold. I'll call you King Harold today. How about that?
That's perfect. And I appreciate the time you're giving me. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as changing the world as we do, right? It's hard to get that time in. So I really appreciate it coming on and just really sharing your expertise in what you do for others. I always tell people we are lighthouses to the world. We're just bringing in those individuals to make sure that they shine too. And that's what you do in both areas of business that you do. So before we even get started with our conversation, I always like pulling, yes, pulling the curtain. And what I mean by that is really understanding the why, the passion of what you do. I mean, it just didn't like just drop in your lap one day and you're like, okay, here I go. I'm going to be doing all this licensing, all this kind of stuff. I know there was something that happened. So can you just share a little bit of that with us?
Yeah, absolutely. For the licensing aspect, it was, as we'll get into it probably later, but I've been in business 35 years. And after 35 years, you got to make a decision, do we stay the status quo? Where do we go? And at that point, I started to look into licensing Hitch Corner, which then took me to helping everybody else license their stuff, their product, any intellectual property they have that they want to make some money off of. That's kind of like you said. We've all done something. We've all learned. We've all gained experience. Now let's do something with that. Let's make some residual income from it while doing your own thing, but make money where you're not working so darn hard at it. So,
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that. Give me that.
right, done and done.
Yes. So Harold, with that, I'm glad you brought up intellectual property because a lot of times people tend to, and I've noticed this for people that I talk to, clients and others, that they don't really think about that as really a priority. Sometimes they think about everything else in their business, everything they're doing, but they don't think about you have some intellectual property that you have to make sure it's safe.
Exactly right. And so, whatever that may be, whether you need to trademark it, whether you need to patent it, you definitely need to take some actions to make sure, just like you said, that it's yours. So you have the rights to do with what you want, and especially in our case with licensing, is make money off of those. Allowing others to utilize it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we always say is every day that you wait on utilizing your intellectual property, you're losing money truly. So
Yeah, we don't want to do that. That's another thing about mating. You want to make the money, but you don't want to lose it while trying to make it at the same time. And that's where you come in at. Now, give us a little bit background because, like I said, this is not your first rodeo. This is not your first time starting out with this. You've been in business even before the licensing, 35 years and probably even longer. So, how does that gel with what you're doing now with the licensing? How did that? Because I always tell people some of those skills, those assets that you have in you kind of slips into other ways that how we do things in life.
sure. Well, yeah. And so first with me being in business 35 years, first it's a brick and mortar for 35 years. So there's a lot of people out there that don't really understand everything that goes into having a brick and mortar. They understand a business to a point, but now you're a brick and mortar. So now you need staffing, and that staffing is, from our case, we need installers. I need a general manager. I need a sales staff. So um, it takes a lot. And I think after 35 years, I can pretty much help anyone figure a lot of things out, whether it's how to find a building. Do you want to buy? Do you want to lease? Do you want to build? But also, how do you find your staff? How do you maintain that staff? Getting a staff is one thing, but how do you keep them? And it's been a long time where, I have a great group. That doesn't mean it's been a great group every year of 35 years, but I finally have that group. It took me a long time to give up power. So, meaning I finally have a general manager now, and I don't have to be there every day. I don't have to micromanage. And so, I can bring a lot of insight to get you to do that much more quickly than I did, to say the least.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up because, I always tell people if you stay in your lane, that's where you really need to focus on. So when you have other people that you can trust, hire or, be over certain things within your business, and the big thing is trust, that you can really
Exactly.
stay in your own lane as being the CEO, the owner, or the content creator or whatever. So you don't have to be in other areas. Yeah.
Correct. I mean, back in the day, I would be doing every aspect. I'd be installing, I'd be talking to customers, I'm on the phone, I'm ordering. And, at the end of the day, you're just frazzled and more than likely wasn't being as productive as I could have been anyway. So if I
Mhm.
had a couple, and I learned, and that's how it is. And so my goal is, especially if someone's going to license a business, I'm going to give you a lot of insight as to how to get on board with that much more quickly and allow you to do other things, give you more free time for sure,
Yeah.
because that was another thing. I didn't take trips or anything for a long time. So
Mhm. Believe me, I've been there, and sometimes I'm there sometimes too. Where
sure,
people
right?
say trip, they said vacation trip. I said, "What's that?" Somebody told me look in the dictionary and find a definition. I said, yeah, because I forgot what it was. So
Exactly.
glad that you help individuals and family, like you said, get that money to come in so they can enjoy life, right? Just sometimes just enjoy
Exactly.
life. Yeah. Oh my God. So now with that, I was going to say, just ask you when people, want your services and want to get into that licensing, what is like the first steps that they would take to talk to you, or what things that you
Yeah,
would require?
absolutely. They can either email me at licensing@hitchcorner.com, or they can text me. My text is always available. It's 303-912-0869. And I always offer a free consultation so we can chat. I like to see where they are, where they're expecting to go, at what place in their little path that they where are they in what they're trying to get to. And then we just, at that point, then we sit down and say, is licensing an option? Is franchising an option? There's a couple of people out there that have a business that maybe franchising is a better deal for. That's not my specialty, but we have someone in house that we utilize. She's great, Andrea Dobkin, and so we can help either way. But it's just finding out what you want to do, what you have, and then putting you in the right place to achieve what you want to achieve.
Hmm. Oh, I love that. Achieve. You use the
Right,
language.
no pun intended.
See, this ran right in there,
That's
Carol.
right. That's right.
Love it. So now, if somebody's like you said, I know they can contact you and do like a discovery call with you. But what type of clients have you been that you really work with? What you're looking for? Is there certain types, or can anybody just kind of come in and do
Literally,
what?
it's anybody, but it's like, so for instance, if you have educational material that you already have and you want to get out there, or you want to become more certified with your existing educational material and then get it out there, we can help you with that. If you have a training course, if you have an app, if any kind of business that you think can be replicated, then let's look at it and see, are the processes in place? What would it take to replicate that? And see what we can do with that. And then obviously any product. If you have a product that nobody else has, especially if you have a patent on it, if you think obviously you created it for a reason, let's get out there and let's make some money off of it. So
Wow. You know what? I'm glad that you expounded on that because now, see, now I'm thinking about myself. Well, this will be helps people. I always use me as a guinea pig so it can help others understand the clients that you're looking for. So
absolutely.
myself, I do have, training product services that I do, especially for visibility, getting people out there on studio, out there on TV and all that stuff. So I'm thinking now that you said that, there are some aspects of some of the training I do that I might need to think about licensing or going to that point. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the key with that is then looking at what kind of industries can utilize that. So we can what they call white label it. So meaning, let's just say you're training, you're like, this would work great in the insurance industry, for training that kind of stuff. Cool. Let's go to the Remax of the world. Let's chat with them. Let's see if this is something they want to get into it. So that's kind of the whole thought process is let's see what you have, see where we fit, and then let's go out there and achieve that again. I'm not going to keep throwing achieve in here, but let's make it work. So
It's just in us, yeah.
right.
We're achievers, so we're going to say that a lot.
Right. But going back to what you said, that's the key is when people hear, truly what intellectual property is, then you all of a sudden your wheels start to spin. You're like, oh my goodness, I think I already have something. And it's like, exactly. Because I think most people do have something.
Yeah. And see, we're so busy. That's why I said it again, because I want people to really think about this because we're talking about it. And I'm glad that you're the expert on this to get us to understand about the intellectual, that we have, that we don't even realize we have, that we can take something like that. And like you said, produce it out there where it could be to a point of even being franchised, or just like you said, going to certain markets and say, hey, I have this product, I have this service. It can be licensed. It could help you out, even in schools or whatever. I mean, I'm just thinking
Absolutely.
Just a whole large that you don't even understand what you are doing to help others with what you're, with the content that you have.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah. So now when you count, when they're coming for like a discovery call with you, do you do like a whole consultation? Like if they just come and say, you know what, Harold, I know I have something, but I just don't know where to start. Do you have people like that and you're just like, okay, let's go with the first step, second step here?
We do. Yeah. Basically I explain a lot. We talk. And then truly, what I really get down to is what do you have, and then we kind of work through a few things just to kind of, talk. And then if I think it's if it's solid, I basically say, let's get you into the program. And the way the program works is, we do a 5,000 up front and that gets you everything. That gets you, let's work on our mission statement. Let's work on our vision. And then let's work on how are we going to sell this to the outside world, as well as market it. And we go through a step-by-step process doing that. But I don't get people into that until they're ready. Granted, I don't think 5,000 is a lot in the grand scheme of things, but 5,000 is 5,000. And so I want to make sure they feel comfortable with that, what they're going to get from it. And my guarantee is always, I will be with you every step of the way until we at least get that first license sold, plain and simple. Because if I can't do that, then I'm not really proving out that this whole system is working. And then I'm still there. But once we have one sold, then you've got all the steps in place that show you that it works. And then you need to take it on yourself at that point and really start to work with it. But we definitely do that introduction first to find out, is this a place you want to go? Just because someone has something, they may be like, yeah, but I'm not ready for that yet. I'm like, I get it, because there's some process. You got to, let's say a business. Do you have processes written down? Do you have a manual for the whole deal? There's definitely steps that go that are involved, and we help with all that. That's part of the package as well. But if you're not quite ready to do it and get it all going, then I'm not as beneficial at that time for certain people.
Yeah. But at least you got in their ear. See, that's the part, the awareness part of it that I feel like, and this is what I love about this conversation and interviewing you, Harold, because a lot of people are not aware of some of the things that you do or what people could do with their, their property, so intellectual property. So I like that we're discussing this because now they're like, okay, wait a minute. I might not be ready just yet, but now I'm aware that I can get myself prepared, or I can have that discovery call with Harold, hint, hint, everybody, and he can talk to you and tell you certain places where you need to go. Now, one thing, and I have a feeling you do this too, which is good because this helps everybody. Maybe somebody comes to you with an idea with their, and it might not be kind of, have you had, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it have to work both ways, right?
Absolutely. So that's the one thing. This is not a money grab. I'm not going to say, give me 5 grand and let's just go find it out. If it definitely comes across the board, number one, I'm going to look around and make sure and say, I had one person come to me this about a month ago and they said, something. And I'm like, I did a quick Google. I'm like, it's already there. So we can't really do anything. It's not unique. So we can't do anything with that. But the other one is my first thing is I will always make them prove to themselves that there is a return on investment on this. So if they can't figure that out, granted I'll help, but if they can't really figure that out, then it's probably not at least at this time, a workable solution or workable a task to go after.
Yeah. And that's what you're there for, is like you said, you're counseling them. You have the background of it. You understand what works and what won't work. And like you said, you even research it and say, well, that's already there. That's not it's already out there and everything. Why even invest in this? And it's just going to,
Exactly. Because you need to be unique of some nature, or if it's similar, you need to be darn much better at it. So
that's what I was going to say. Either you're unique with it, or you better be really good at what
yeah, right.
everybody else is doing.
Exactly.
Because that brings that uniqueness out.
Yeah, right. It's still unique in the end. So yeah. So.
Yes. So I was going to ask you too, that with that, you also, because like the whole package, just going back to what you have, $5,000. This is what I was going to say to everybody out there too that's listening. That's an investment for you, and I know Harold works with people. You're going to get that money back of double, triple, but you have to invest first.
And you have to invest first. Yeah. And I tell everybody, like, I'm here there to help, but you need to be integral in every step of the process. You need to be all in. It's not one that you jump in and then we take, just you give me a call in like 3 weeks and we get another 3 weeks. We kind of need to be on it, and working. And it may be 3 weeks, but that means you've done 3 weeks of solid work and then we're ready for the next steps. But yeah, it's one that I'm going to handhold for sure. But it definitely takes a lot of work on the other person's side to get this to rock and roll. So
awesome. Yeah. Now, just going a little bit about the other things that because I know you mentioned, you go talk to them about their mission, what kind of intellectual property that they have. If it's because it could be, now I was going to ask you, it could be a product or service or both if they have,
absolutely. You are correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, we're going to take you all the way. We have, that even includes, we have license agreements, templates that you can utilize. Okay. We have employment agreements that you can utilize. So we have a lot of included features, I would say, that really justify, if the 5,000, once you break it out and you look at it, you're like, oh my goodness, and then, you're part of Achieve, those ones that are on Achieve, for $50, and then we add on all the features that Achieve provides you on the backside. Well, now that whole process is going, and you have a group to already jump out at to try and sell it, besides the outside world. So it becomes if you're ready to do it, it becomes, I believe, an easy yes, so to speak. So
yeah. And now I was going to ask you, Harold, just giving just one, because I know you have a lot of golden nuggets for people, because you've been, like I said, doing this for a while. What would be one thing to tell the audience to start off, even before they even probably contact you or think about this? What is one thing that you would give a little golden nugget to?
I would say take that one thing that you know the best, whatever that may be, and think about, is there a way to make more money off of that? Can I utilize that for something else? So if I have a gym, can I utilize what I've done in this gym that other people could prosper from and that I could prosper from? If I have, like you said, an educational system, can I utilize that for somebody else? So my golden nugget is take the one thing that you really know the best, and let's see if we can do something to get you some residual income with it.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Because I know a lot of people, they're beginning, some people are beginners. They're not knowing exactly where to start.
Absolutely. And that's, and truly, like when I said we do the mission statement, we do the vision, there's a lot of people out there like, we already have that. And I get that. But at the same time, you just hit on the head. There's some people that have a great idea, but that's all they have right now. So we really have to go through the steps of what creating a true little business is, to make sure that we can make the process work the way they want it to work.
And I just want to add to that. You just mentioned, some people, because I get this even when I'm coaching people about because I also always ask about the mission and the why that they do, because we want to dig to see why they're doing what they do. A lot of times, some people say they have it, Harold, and I know you ran into this, and they really
they don't.
You want to say, I need to help you with that.
Right, exactly. And that's why we still go through the step. I'm saying if they say they have my cool, just write it on down right there so I can look at it, And then you realize that, they could write it pretty quickly, but then they read it and they're like, wait a second. And then they really start to refine it. And that's all we're looking for, because the more you refine, the better the process is going to work.
Yes, definitely, definitely. So, wow, Harold, this has been amazing. I love this. And now you have me thinking, my wheel's been going. My wheel's
That's
going.
Good. That's the goal. Then this is working. So this is perfect. So
you achieved what you needed to.
Exactly. See? You can trademark that if you want, Barbara.
I love it. So here, I want to take myself down just for 30 seconds, because I want you to leave any lasting thoughts for the audience regarding, to working with you or whatever you have to give, and I'll be right back.
Okay. I would just encourage you to look at what you do every day. If you think you have a great concept, reach out to me, licensing@hitchcorner.com, or text me at 303-912-0869. I want you to make money off of what you're already doing, and let's take advantage of all your property that you understand, that you own, your smarts, your wits. Let's take advantage. Just want to help you out.
Yes, I love it, love it, love it. And he will help you out. He, like I said, just to remind everybody now, remember at the beginning, I started King Harold. So he is an alpha leader and Achieve as well, and also been a member for a while. So he knows what he's talking about. I mean, we had this conversation. If you have any type of intellectual property that that you created, that you help other people, that you move the needle in their life, that you have a product that that you've been using and using, you're like, oh, I want other people to see this. I want other people to use it. Maybe I want other companies to use it. Harold is the person to get with, to have that discovery call. And let's make that happen, right? I don't want to say, I want to say Achieve one more time. And then
I love it. I love it. So.
I love it. So Harold, thank you so much. You are family in the community of Achieve. If anytime you want to come back on Achieve Experts Highlight Show, please just let me know. This is where we highlight the experts for Achieve, because we want people to understand who's in the community. Everybody's like looking to say, who can help me in this area? Or maybe you need help in marketing or licensing, or, or just visibility. I'm just throwing all that out there because we have a lot of experts doing all that. This is where you find the place to really have those conversations. Get to know their personality, get to know who they are, and get to know what they can do for you. With that, we'll see you at the next Achieve Expert Highlight Show. And as I always say, please, whatever you do, we were talking about that special, being that special person. Well, you got it right there. Just make sure it's shining for others, because so you can help others in the same time. Take care.
Thank you, Barbara.
Introducing the Diamond Factor Network, where we turn your business into a beacon of success. Imagine having your TV streaming show reaching audiences far and wide. It's possible with the Diamond Factor Network. Unlock the power of your brand with our state-of-the-art TV streaming platform. Your show, your way. Feature highlights, customized shows, global reach, and professional support. Coaching by Barbara J. Beckley, purpose, visibility, and social media strategist. Ready to elevate your brand? Join the Diamond Factor Network today and let your brilliance light up the world. Shine bright, because your success is our priority.